Potato eyes. Oh, my poor little eyes. Come here to get abuse from my mods. Right. Hi. I'm a potato. Hi. How is everyone doing? Hope you are all well. Hopefully the microphone doesn't peak too much and picks me up pretty well. Tweak some more bits and bobs. I should be next week probably sorting out the more of the sound in my room so it's less echoey. Because this office isn't bad for sound, but there is a bit of echo in here. And I can deal with, and I will deal with. Bring up some soundboards and some acoustic panels and stuff. There's actually, there's only acoustic panels sort of like to the left and right of me. There's nothing beyond some curtains in front of me, and the corners are pretty bad for that. And behind me, obviously where you get reflection and the echo from, there's nothing there other than flat walls and a door. It's bouncy. How is everyone doing? I mean, I know you can't. I won't respond to all of you. You all responded to that. I'm doing pretty well. I'm very excited for Alpha 4.1. I think it's making pretty good strides. There is a major blocker with it at the moment. There's effectively the introduction of bandwidth in issues where it can go to 0 for some time, basically meaning you're not receiving data from the server, which is effectively a 30k. It's a 30k issue. Sort of turned up in the PTO. I do not believe it is fixed yet. It's a major blocker. CIG should be able to hopefully solve it. Be interesting to see exactly why it's occurring now, because it must be to do with another network optimization they've made? Question mark? We'll have to wait and see. I've noticed a little bit of a performance drop in 4.1 as well from me, frame rate wise. See where that goes as well. There'll be certainly be some tweaks and optimization. They've reintroduced ESR and DLSS and FSR, I think. 4.1. So reintroduced. Fixed a bug that was preventing it to be being used on lots of graphics cards. I've also currently moved over, in the short term at least, to Team Red for my graphics card. So I've got a 9070 XT, rated from a 3080 GeForce. It is significantly better for that purpose of being an interim upgrade. I say interim, it's like 600 quid. So effectively only cost me like 300 quid to upgrade because I logged my old graphics card off. And it's a good boost. It's a huge boost in FSR 4 games, and allows me to run 4K and a lot of stuff a lot better, or at least a downscaled, upscaled version of 4K. Good for Star Citizen as well. 16 gigs of VRAM, as well as a bit more future-proof, and in fact it actually uses the Gen 5 PCI Express slot. Interesting to see how that sort of pairs well with Star Citizen going forward once they've got Vulkan in and FSR in. Obviously, when they had that AMD presentation, they were talking about it being 2.9 times faster. Under certain circumstances, I suspect it is, but Star Citizen needs to be optimized. But we'll talk about that, because I have no loyalty to any graphics card manufacturer. Bear that in mind. I'll be jumping between them over the next few years based on what I think is better. I do feel that recently Nvidia have dropped the ball with a lot of problems in stock and supply, and the problem with scalping, and that scalping feels like it's done at a actual outlet stage now, where I'm trying to buy it from a website, and that website is previously been just selling these cards. Now it feels like they're scalping me, or I've even bought them, and they still get. Well, they still seem to sell loads of scalpers, and they instantly pay it on eBay. A little stressful, a little annoying. So, hope everyone else is doing well. Hope you're having a good 4.1 experience. I want to talk a little bit today about 4.1, about whatever anyone else wants to talk to, but obviously 4.1 is going to be the main focus because it's, the March. It's going to be released at the end of March. So you've got the supply or die and both the Pyro still running. Got a line of mine just about to. Line of mine's available in 4.1 at the moment. Got the Banu collector. Got sandworms, at least the little tiny juvenile ones. I'm a sandwormomancer. I can do like clever voodoo with sandworms. I'm very accurate with any time I've mentioned sandworms, but that is pretty much any accuracy I have with Star Citizen and timings, and Citizen gets quite annoyed. The only time I mention sandworms, it seems to come to fruition. Does anyone know if they fixed the freight elevator in the contested zones in 4.1? So there's loads of elevator fixes and loads of fixes to contested zones in 4.1. I'm not sure if any of the specific fixes have held, nor am I sure if your specific one, if it's fixed, but I believe it was almost certainly listed as fixed because they fixed a load of stuff like that. Well, hopefully should be addressed. I believe it probably will have been. So I know that's pretty vague, but and I can't wait to find a 9070 in stock. Try if you can, if it's sensible to you, get a 9070 XT. They are a good amount more powerful and a significantly better sort of for undervolting and overpowering. So bear that in mind. Any theories to why they are allowing the economy to be flooded with so much money? Thanks, Board. They're just testing different things. Inflation's going to be rampant until there's more things to spend your money on that you have to regularly spend your money on, and a money sink and a proper dynamic economy, and death of a spaceman, and engineering with components constantly needing to be sort of replaced. So there's lots of rewards and not much to spend it on and regularly spend it on, and insurance and stuff to actually drain your money. That's why everything gets flooded. It just leads to. It doesn't lead to inflation. It leads to a ridiculous amount of money being in the system. Because there's no inflation, because things stay the same prices in game, right? If you add stuff would level out a bit more if you had a player economy and taxes, or I suppose that would lead to actual inflation. Because the players would then set prices for stuff, which would keep on going up the more money there is in game. What you want is you want a tiny amount, like 2% a year or something, inflation in game. What you want, you don't want it to be stagnant. You want it to go up very slightly, as a dynamic economy sort of should, have a little bit of growth, and our FUEC gets less valuable over time. Although, let's see what the market happens in game if you have good enough dynamic economy, right? Where's the Galaxy at? So RSI Galaxy, I believe that is part of the chain of RSI ships they're working on. So a lot of the shared assets have been done for the Galaxy. Not sure when you're going to start to see them talk about the Galaxy though, nor do I know where they are on it beyond like white boxing it or grey boxing it. I've been flying the Vandal Scythe, and my goodness, the thing is crazy awesome. So the Scythe and the Glaive are going to be getting those big updates as well at some point, if you've seen from Squadron 42 trailer. So bear that in mind. Big changes with those. you know, and my staying power, I love Star Citizen. I'll cover it for hopefully many, 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 many more years to come. Sort of enjoy covering it, warts and all. I don't have to play it incessantly, constantly. I only play it like a few hours a week at the moment. I am planning to play a bit more and do a load more actual game content with Zin. Actually, people on my org and a load of my friends and stuff. So that stuff will be coming in the future. It's going to be more when I start to super enjoy playing it more permanently, when it's a bit more playable and there's a bit more permanence with the game. I'm going to be doing it a lot more regularly. That might be with 1.0. Might be before. If they have a battlefield style mode, if they have like a theaters of war mode or an arena commander mode that I can get really my teeth into as well, that might be regular sort of streams and gameplay on the channel more than just covering the news and the news stuff. And talking about other bits and bobs. Physical damage isn't implemented yet, at least not properly. It's all simulated. Once you have engineering and physicalized components, they will deal with locational, individual, and it should be a physicalized damage system at least eventually, and then should be truly physicalized. Because there's got Maelstrom and stuff as well like that, which is the breakability tech. So that's the plan. It's not there yet. There is a system and artificial health pools and everything for projectiles. The projectiles themselves are physicalized to an extent. So they made the ALS non-invincible anymore, which has caused some other problems for people. What do you think about the idea of the system insurance commissioning by mission crafters to replace items lost by players? I think that's a relatively good idea. Incentivize players to build things and to gather things in the economy for other players as part of missions. So dynamic missions should take that into account. I think that was the plan. Yeah, I like that. Is server meshing the last bit of core tech that Star Citizen needs to implement? It depends. The problem is it depends what you define as core tech. It is dynamic server meshing is one of the last core pieces, potentially the main remaining core piece, and then it depends on how you sort of. Do you require? What exactly is a core piece? Everything in 1.0 now a core piece? Or are you just talking about engine-wise? Because really they need. There's a lot of stuff that needs to evolve properly so that they have proper Vulkan support and an optimized engine. Maelstrom's kind of core, engineering's core, right? The updated flight model and flight mechanics. Control surfaces and stuff. There's no kid behind me. Oh, there's a kid Roberts. I know there is new planet tech and resource distribution coming. I would count that as building out existing tech. Okay. There's a lot of stuff still coming before they've got 1.0. Breaking it down into different categories, and we could debate that, but it's sort of all academic, right? Star Citizen 1.0 also contains server meshing, and that's what they consider going to be released and no more resets once they have all of the 1.0 stuff in. It's Wild West name. It could be his like piratey name, right? It's the Dread Pirate Roberts, isn't it? What's your take on the shift to slave pilot weapons now? Does this get us closer to server blades? Oh, I see what you mean. And not really. I don't think it's an indication of server blades. It's an indication to me that CIG in the shorter and mid-term are trying to make the game as playable as possible. And part of that is listening to what players have been asking for a long time, triaging some of that, implementing some of that, and not ignoring some of it, but also going, this stuff isn't appropriate for some. So, slaving some remote turrets on some ships so the pilot has access to them just makes sense. You can also have the co-pilot controlling them, but you don't have the pilot having access to manned guns, if you see what I mean. So guns that actually need to be physically enter to have crewed, to have gunned. Pilot doesn't have access to them. Server blades, blade modules might give you the ability to have those then slaved or semi-autonomous. So server blades are a bit different. You'll have server blades almost certainly before we have NPC crew. Unfortunately, the Cutlass and the Scorpius turret, they're manned, right? They're not remote turrets. And potentially, with server blades in the future, you will be able to slave them, or have the pilot control them, or have them firing without a crewman. Without physical damage, how can they release Squadron? They don't necessarily need physical damage for Squadron, but they probably do, and that will probably be in-game by when they release in 2026. It's not a loaded question. I mean, I don't know for sure, right? That's the other thing. I can only at the moment tell you what I reckon. We haven't got troopers guys damage in game. We don't have the Maelstrom system, breakability system. We don't have engineering. We don't have a ton of stuff that I'd say that Squadron requires. However, Squadron is something that doesn't require multiplayer. It can be a lot more scripted and pre-baked for a lot of this stuff. Scorpius is a remote turret. Scorpius isn't a remote turret. Scorpius is manned. Right? Not mad, am I? As in, you require the co-pilot in there. Have I gone crazy? I mean, technically it's remote, but I see what you mean. Technically remote because it's on the turret. You don't need to be in it. Is it one of the? Not one of the ones they've made. Not on the ones they've made available. GPU. What have I got written down? Corsair, Reclaimer, Carrot, Valkyrie, Raft, and Starlifter. Yeah, so that's a good point. That the Scorpius. So there's a lot of turrets which require a co-pilot / gunner in that you could make remote. Scorpius is remotely It's remotely manned, but it's always been remotely manned by a gunner. That's the co-pilot gunner, right? I know this is a really weird hill to die on. Scorpius is a remote turret. Yeah, okay. See what you mean. It's always intended though that the co-pilot would gun that, and I could argue, that's me thinking, going, oh no. It's interesting. So, should you be able to have the pilot fire the turret on top of the Scorpius, but it would just have less range of motion, right? Because it can behind, it couldn't move. Yeah, I think that's what I'd want as well. Why not? Who cares about balance? No, I can see that. No, I mean, I suppose if they want to balance it, they could balance it, right? They could give it smaller weapons on there. they could have it less powerful when it's being used by the pilot. There's a lot of stuff they could do, right? Yeah, let's leave it forward. Yeah, why not? I've been convinced. I was trying to talk my way out of it's not really a remote turret. I mean, it is. Yeah, it's remotely accessed. That's what remote turrets are. I suppose what I was trying to say is if the ship was bigger, they would have made it a manned turret, but I can't. The Scorpius has got load of guns on its wings. Pew, 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 pew. It's got guns on its wings and the turret. But obviously, the turret wasn't accessible to pilots. Yeah, I'd argue that I'm pro slaving the any remote turret should be able to be fire forward by the pilot. Yeah, why not? You might that might require further balance. It might require actually these turrets are effectively worse in some ways, or require more power or something because they're having to they're not being run by a human. It's something. Yeah, they're worse at target. I don't know. They're slower to move. They might require some balance, but I'm pro that for sure. Oh yeah. I'm PDTs, PDCs. Very, I absolutely love them. I want this stuff in game. I suppose I want a lot more ships, and I really like the idea of it. So the sort of automatically firing. I suppose this is server blades, right? This is sort of like a big step towards it. Automatically firing turrets that fire at enemies. They had them just firing at missiles and torpedoes first, but then it was anything that was an enemy. They need some love, for sure. I mean, otherwise, we'd have them on those ships and they'd have AI blades available, right? No, it's not clever. I'm pro having more access to pilot weaponry, which is also known as slaving the turrets. Have you gotten around to an optimization guide? You might want to add the DLSS override gave me 20 to 30 boost in GPU heavy errors. And the game HUD looks a lot cleaner. Oh, so I want to mess around with FSR. There's OptiScaler as well for FSR for sort of bodge support. I'm very pro, although I can understand CIG being a bit iffy on that. I have asked CIG to give me some comment, and I've asked them to whitelist OptiScaler. So that'll be good if they do. Roy TT, feel free to message me or email me, contact at boredgamer.co.uk, or get me on my Discord or whatever, with any optimization guides you've already seen or ways of doing DLSS override, stuff like that. Like, I will take a look. You right, Sketch Therapy, mate. J-Bird, Sketch Therapy, beautiful boys, thank you so much for being here. Roddy Type, good to see all of you, in fact. Very lovely people. Thank you very much for asking questions. Is appreciated. Will there be an option in the future to be a left-handed shooter with all character customization? So I think that requires some odd tweaking to have you as left-handed, because then they have to rebalance stuff. I like the idea. It's not something that they've talked about, as far as I'm aware. in some games where you can choose to be left-handed or right-handed. And often I choose to be left-handed because it gives you a better view from my perspective. Third-person games typically. That's an interesting. Hey, Bird! This question may seem questionable, but should I question all your questions? Because some of these questions seem questionable. That's fine. I mean, if you feel like you need to question them, then maybe. I'm 40 in a couple of weeks. What am I doing with my life? I'm covering Star Citizen and Monstrous. I've got so fat in the last 3 months, but we'll sort that out after my birthday, I think. Zin, her partner, and my mate that's nearby, her husband, and a couple of my other mates who are coming down to play board games and console games and stuff towards the end of this week. So I'm not sure how the channel will be affected, but you probably get asked this on every stream, but what is your favourite Chris Roberts game? Oh, I like a bit of Freelancer. So Wing Commander, my older brothers were playing when I was young. I played some Wing Commander. I need to play through Wing Commander. Probably Freelancer, because it was more poignant to me at the time. Although I think Wing Commander had more of an effect on my life. I heard that PDCs will soon become ballistic and have limited munitions. I haven't got that run down my notes, but I don't hate the idea of that. Well, maybe I like the idea of different types of PDC, and obviously some laser ones maybe taking a load of power. But the ballistic ones taking less power, stuff like that I like. Who the hell's brain exploded when they designed the Reclaimer? And by the way, keep up the good content. Thank you very much for the love. I appreciate it. So it's kind of quite alien, right? In the film, Nostromo. It's sort of got an alien feel to me. Nathan Disley and John Crew that made the Reclaimer. Man to be 40 again. Getting old. I don't mind getting old. Don't mind it. Just want to be comfortable, play board games, play computer games, enjoy Star Citizen. I quite like making YouTube content, Star Citizen, and chatting, streaming. It's pretty chill. I only played Star Citizen Persistent Universe. Did the old Chris Roberts game be adapted to lore? Squadron 42 goes well. You could potentially mod it. You could make a full conversion mod potentially in the engine, maybe. Depends on, are they going to support mods and private servers and stuff like they said they were a decade ago or not? A lot of stuff's changed. The idea would have to do all the motion capturing twice to have left-handed. Or maybe. Yeah, it's a lot of extra work. For something that I don't care about. Meh. I want hacking already. I do think hacking's actually a feature we'll see later this year. Yeah. Or something similar to hacking being used in missions. They developed a lot of it a while ago. They sort of paused it seems. I think it'll be in a game later this year. That's I reckon. Ballistic weapons shouldn't take any power. They should, because they require targeting. They need to target stuff, and they need to tie into some of the other ship systems and cooling. So to an extent, but significantly less power than energy weapons. Is there any word on fixing all bags not going on cargo goods? I think it's going to be fixed for 4.1 before it goes live, I believe. We obviously got a lot more of the all containers functional over the last few patches. Do you expect species from old Chris Roberts games to come back? So there's things like the Kerfak, right? That we don't really know much about, other than they're on the other side of Xi'an space, and they had the Spirit Wars with the Xi'an. Now, there might be references and Easter eggs to other Chris Roberts games and other species that have appeared. Will there be a partial wipe of 4.1? So, as far as wipes go, there should be. There's no planned wipe for 4.1, and in fact, more stuff should carry over than ever before. So some of they've been putting some stuff in to make sure that things from contested zones get carried over and stuff like that as well. So more stuff than ever before should be copied over. Hope that answers your question. That's the plan anyway. Yeah, but there'll probably be nods to Chris Roberts stuff and previous games and Wing Commander and Freelancer, and there is already to some extent, and lots of other things. But copyright and that sort of stuff means that they might not be able to bring these things over. They might not be able to do them officially. People would probably make a total conversion game. Modding allows it in the future. Again, based on copyright. Yeah, your stuff should be carrying over from events and contested zones. Hopefully, out for a reason, right? They're building towards something significantly more playable over the next few patches, though. It is getting better and better and better and better. I think a lot of people are loving the monthly cadence. Some people are obviously going to dislike it. I mean, item recovery stuff is very polarizing. As I talked to Zin about in the podcast today, I think there's a bit of a fruit fly effect going on with a shorter life cycle for each of these patches, but also the features being implemented in them causing a little bit more polarization and people getting very bent out of shape on certain things that should be changing again pretty soon. Zero item recovery basically goes, you can't loot equipped items, you can't loot equipped weapon and armor effectively from a player, and they respawn with that when they respawn. People are like, oh, that's a bit. It's the greater good in the short term, helping more players, and then it builds a foundation for the rest of item recovery, which will hopefully come pretty soon, which evolves that somewhat. Do you think we'll see the Arastra soon? They haven't mentioned Arastra for a while. I don't believe it's being worked on, but I don't know that. We have a Banu in game now, yes. Merchantman when? It is a step towards that. I mean, the step towards more Banu stuff. I don't know who currently owns the IP for Wing Commander, or when it will be out of IP, if you see what I mean. I appreciate all the kind words. Thank you. Much love. Oh, I could. You know what? I should make myself into one of these VTubers, or just at least give myself some hair, some VTuber hair. coming out. Oh my god. To be young and handsome again. And some of you will be like, what are you talking about, Bored? You are young and handsome. I know. Be younger and handsomer. Is Maelstrom even on the roadmap? Huh. That is a really good point. Let's have a look. What's in 1.0 at the moment? Arsim. So to me, Maelstrom is an evolution of engineering, but I suppose that's just my fields. Placement AI blades are there now. New quantum travel experience, life support, engineering gameplays there. And space stations crafting, base building, data trading, all important things. Org stuff. Location. So you're right. Maelstrom is not there. It's technically an evolution. Huh. Interesting. I will dig deeper into what is going on with Maelstrom. Is it considered a evolution of engine or chip physics or engineering or something? Or is it something they actually want to get in after one? Maelstrom when? So I put Maelstrom when CIG please in my notes. That is good enough for me. Destructible bases, question mark? Well, I don't know exactly how base hacking and destruction will work. It might be more component driven. I suppose you'd want Maelstrom for it, right? So you could blow up walls and actually blow up buildings. We'll have to wait and see. We haven't actually seen that as part of base building and station assaulting, not properly anyway. Bored. Oh yeah, words. Do you think with the cat's new cargo doors, now elevators, functional, will the Carrack pods see some action on movement? So you can actually... The Carrack had loads of fixes recently. I'm not sure to what extent the Carrack is supposed to... This pod's supposed to open on the Carrack? No, they're supposed to be modular. I haven't even thought about that. Your basics 30 to 35. Your hairline. Oh, you're a monster. I don't have a hairline, actually. I actually kind of do. It is like a monk's. Oh, no. Oh. Ah. When will they start mass producing star systems? Do you want mass produced star systems? I suppose I should ask. So I'd expect them to be able to get a... I'm expecting Nixon by the end of the year, for example. Once they've pushed 1.0 out, you could get a handful of systems in each year quite easily. Potentially more. Well, the Commons. One of my favourite tracks. 4-star citizen by Pedro Camacho. I use it in a load of my videos. I think it is. All hail Monk BoredGamer. Yes, indeed. When do you think we will see the new biomes and Planet Tech? They're actually implemented. So a lot of the Planet Tech V5 and biomes and stuff will come in kind of drip fed, but slowly over time. Okay, or not all at once. Is what I'm saying. It's true of a lot of the stuff like that. Swamps looks awesome. The jungles and dense forests looks awesome. It all looks great. Dynamic weather looks great. Yeah, I was yeah, I'm very excited for a lot of that stuff. But I'm also excited about, for example, them getting better Vulkan integration in general and getting that a lot more optimized. And eventually, even AMD and GeForce actually making drivers that are a bit more optimized themselves as well. Obviously, BoredGamer need to optimize their game. And I don't want them to just optimize their game with DLSS and FSR in mind. I want them to actually optimize their game. Because a load of games now, there's sort of super lazy optimization that go, I know, frame rates can be handled by blurring the screen a bit and having resolutions run in, which run in lower res and upscale it and stuff. I was like, oh, come on, optimize your game a bit. Very nice. That's a Silent Hill annoyance. That's a Monster Hunter annoyance. But yeah, AI and some of these upscaling techniques have made developers a lot lazier, shall we say. Hopefully we don't see that with Star Citizen, but who knows, eh? Who knows? I appreciate all the kind words. Yeah, really looking forward to 4.1 going live. Like, the Banner Collector stuff's great. The museum there's great. The ability to have that a mission giver and shop there that effectively they can tweak every month, have some interesting stuff in that helps sort of get you into the game, get you wanting to play the game, rewarding you. I appreciate the love. Thank you. Thank you. Mercury Star on a second entrance ever. I'm hoping they add a little emergency hatch or something. I am hoping that. We'll see. I mean, they can just have it that in lore was a problem, a design problem with the ship, right? Stuff like that does happen. There are design issues with cars and aircraft and things. Simon Wolf, thank you very much for coming aboard, Citizen. Genuinely appreciated, sir. Thank you, thank you. We are going to stop pretty soon. I get podcast uploaded and a thumbnail and title sorted for it. Like the content, keep it up. Thank you, I appreciate it. So I wasn't too impressed with. Oh, actually, let's bring this up on screen. Impressed with La Fortuna. So this is cool. The Starkitten stuff, and okay, it's like some of these racing skins, they're alright. Kind of like the Razor one. But I was expecting something more, just because they sort of implied there was going to be something a bit different this time around. It doesn't really feel like there was. Again, I like the some of the racing gear stuff. Very much the Starkitten suit going to be here. Right, over it. Yeah, I like some of the stuff. And are you a bit more incentivized to buy this because of item recovery tier 0? Maybe. Bit of a ship sale going on, but I wasn't too sort of like... wasn't too impressed with Stellar Fortuna this year. I understand that basically every month has at least a minor event and a patch release now, and some other stuff might be going on as well. So, yeah. And it ranges from Stellar Fortuna or more, all the way up to Citizen Con or Fleet Week, or the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, stuff like that, right? So, bit of a scale of a minor event is each month. But it's an interesting one. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, I'm super excited for dynamic weather as well. I think that's cool. When you get frame stutters, do you think that's because your video card isn't fast enough, or because the game isn't waiting on game's waiting on data from the disk, or processing a physics? Okay. So, Star Citizen is very single CPU core heavy, and it's not super optimized for multi-threaded yet. I mean, it's can moderately optimized. It can do some multi-core stuff reasonably well. It needs a lot more. You will get stutters typically in game for a huge range of reasons, and it's an alpha game, so it's typically poor optimization. Yes, it could be a frame stutter due to the CPU waiting or the GPU waiting, or an issue with your disk or RAM, something going on there. But typically your CPU or GPU will be waiting to do something, and can't get it. Yeah, there's a load of stuff that some of this stuff because the game's not super optimized yet. You lots of problems with, yeah, as someone's saying, disable full screen optimizations. There's a load of stuff that can work, and decent stuff I managed to figure out regarding performance, and I DM'd you on. Appreciated, Roy. We will put that up now, and actually don't. You sir are a legend, because I want to dig through that and have a look at some things that make Star Citizen more playable now. It's one of the things why I want them to enable Optiscaler or allow us through whitelisting and stop cheat protection for like easy anti-cheat triggering on certain things. I love stuff like reshade and stuff like that as well. Do you think that the crafting tier system and degradation will make up for an unlock or looting or lack of looting system and item recovery tier 0 to 2? Okay, so crafting and item degradation going to be interesting for the player economy and as a mixture of maintenance and time / money sink stuff. Super important for a game, right? So the looting / item recovery stuff, we can't really judge until they've got tier 2 in there. And I think that the tier 2 system, in my opinion, sounds really good. The ability to still loot people's bodies and sell that stuff, even if it's bricked, or potentially even get it working. But I don't want to super easily be able to get the rarest loot from someone just by tricking them or trapping them or getting them to respawn. You want to have to work for it to a degree. And I like the idea of insurance and stuff like that, because otherwise people are just never going to wear this stuff out. So, will drop pods for people be added to Star Citizen? Drop pods are going to be a thing. The ships that they're a thing in, and they will be functional. I need to talk to DC about AI rig stuff. We'll talk about it this week when he's down here. We'll talk to him. can't remember what I've told people about my AI, the AI stuff I want to do, but I will talk about that at some point when I'm a bit more evolved in the I'm doing. I am absolutely shattered. I'm going to dash off in a second because I'm going to start really rambling and not talking sense. Apologies. Not been sleeping massively well recently. Right. Thanks for watching. I love you guys loads. If you want to further support the channel, feel free to. There's links on my videos, and feel free to come to my Discord and say hello. Message me if you want me to cover something in particular. I do need to bring back the org spotlights. I keep on saying that I have like 6 months. Yeah. If you've got something you want us to cover, or suggestion or whatever, yeah, message me on Discord or email me. I'm pretty chill. Happy to listen. I certainly don't get everything right as well when I have an I reckon. So bear that in mind. I'm going to send you over to the beautiful Super Mac brother. Is one of my boys. Not my son or something. That would be weird. Send you over there. Then I am going to have a little tiny nap. And sort out the podcast. Boom. Over there. I'm into the stream. I love you guys.